Hi guys, today is video 1 in making a cat organizer. We're going to need a J hook, that's a 5.75 millimeter hook. Something to mark your stitches with. It can be a piece of thread, a piece of yarn. It can be an actual stitch marker. I like the stitch markers myself, but anything will work. And you're going to need a counter. Your counter is going to be super important for this project, so make sure that you have some way to count. You're also going to need 3 skeins of Bernat blanket yarn or something similar. You're also going to want to buy your yarn, if you're doing it all one color, at the same time if possible, because you're going to want to try to get the same lot number. And if you look by your barcode, you'll see the lot number, and it's just so that sometimes when they dye, maybe the dye will be just slightly, ever so slightly different. And so what you don't want is to have like one leg a little bit lighter shade of black or what have you. You want it to all match up like you used all the same yarn. All right, so let's get started. We're going to start with a magic ring or magic circle of 8 single crochet. If you don't know how to do the magic circle, simply scroll down my videos and you will see a tutorial on a very simple way to learn how to make one. And I'll try to link it in this video as well so it's easier to find. We're going to do 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we're going to take our tail, we're going to pull that taut and go through our first stitch here and slip stitch in, and our magic circle is complete. Well, my fingers aren't working today. And we're going to hit our marker. Row 1 is done. Now we're going to increase. That's going to be 2 single crochets per stitch around this magic circle for a total of 16 stitches. Here we go. 1, and back in that same stitch. Oh, I did not get it in the same stitch. 2, next stitch, 3, back in the same stitch, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, back in the same stitch, 12, 13, 14, 15, oh, come on, and 16. All right, so we have 16 stitches now. Hit our little thing. That's going to be row 2 done. Now we're going to single crochet 16 stitches all the way around for rows 3 through 26. And this is why the stitch counter is so important, because as we're going row by row by row, it is super easy to lose count. So here we go. 1, into the next stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, hit our button, move our stitch marker. At this point, I like to kind of flip it inside out so that the right side of the stitches are going to be facing on the outside, and continue. This is going to be row 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, oops, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Hit my button, move my marker. Row 5. Getting the fuzzy wuzzies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hit my button, move my marker. Going into row 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hit our button. Move our stitch marker. Onto row 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Hit our button, move our marker, and you can fast forward if you want to. We're going to go to about row 13, and then I'm going to start stuffing it a little bit. If you lose track of where you're at, your counter is important, but you can always go back and count, starting where your magic circle was. Row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you know you're on going into row 8. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Hit our button, move our stitch marker. Row 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hit our button, move our stitch marker. You'll notice you've made kind of like a little cup here. This is what it's looking like so far. It might be kind of harder to see because it's black. All right, we're moving into row 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hit our button, move our stitch marker, and you can start stuffing at any point and just stuff as you go. I personally like to wait till I hit about row 13 and then I stuff, and then I stuff again at 20 and then again at 26. So, but you can literally stuff wherever you feel most comfortable doing it. Going into row 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And if I go too fast or too slow, you can speed up or slow down this video on YouTube. Going into row 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Hit my button. Move my marker. Row 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. All right, we're gonna hit our button, move our stitch marker. And now I'm just going to kind of remove my hook. You can leave your hook in or you can remove it. It doesn't matter, however you choose to do. And I'm just gonna break up some fluff. Now it's really important with these that you stuff them evenly. You're making 4 of them, and things with yarn, the thing with yarn is that it will contract or expand based on how much you put in there. So like I can overstuff this, I can make it really firm and hard, and when I do, this will expand bigger and bigger until it reaches its maximum capacity. I don't want to do that. I want to make it kind of soft and squishy. I don't want to overstuff it, and I want it to be even across all of my legs. I'm going to have 4 legs, and so it's important that they're all stuffed evenly, because otherwise when I get to this point, they won't even be the same height because they will be stuffed not correctly. So it's important that you try to stuff them correctly or evenly. All right, so here we go. Continuing on, row 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hit my button, move my marker. Okay. Row 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, fuzzy wuzzies, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hit my button, move my marker. This is going to be row 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hit my button, move my marker, going into row 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, hit my button, move my marker. Look at how that's turning out. It's turning out great. Going into row 18. I like to move my stitch marker to the underside. And don't mind, if you're working in black, you're going to pick up all kinds of fuzzies. Just pull them off as you go. Because black picks up every fuzzy there is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Hit my button, move my marker. All right, row 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hit my button, move my marker. We're going to go into row 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Move our stitch marker, hit our button. You don't have to remove it, it just makes it easier, I feel like, if you remove your crochet hook. I'm just getting some of these fuzzies off because it picks up every fuzzy. I'll take a lint roller to it when it's completely done to get all the fuzzies. But in the meantime, I'm gonna grab some stuffing. And we're going to start with just a small amount because we want it, like I said, it's important that it's done evenly. So we're just going to get it all nice and down inside of there. And we'll grab some more. Put it in. We don't want to overstuff, but we want it to be, you know, soft, but not hard and overdone. All right. Moving on, we got 6 more rows until the next step. Put our crochet hook back in and continue on for row 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, hit the button, Move the stitch marker. Okay. Row 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hit my button, move my stitch marker. Normally I hold this different when I'm working. I kind of hold it up and down the whole time, but for camera purposes I'm getting closer to you guys, so I'm trying to hold it a little different. All right, here we go. Row 23. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hit the button, move the stitch marker, going into row 24. 1, 2, 3, oopsie, 3, 1, 2, 5, 7, 8. And 16. Hit my button, move my stitch marker. We're going into row 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, we're gonna undo that one. I know it's confusing, but sometimes when you're doing it, your counts will be wrong. And so it's very important that you get 16 around and not extras. So somewhere I messed up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Much better. Hit the button, move your stitch marker. All right, we got one more row. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Hit our button, move our stitch marker. Okay, now we're going to stuff a little bit more. We're going to finish stuffing this. Just get some stuffing. Get it down in there. Not too tight. You'll notice I tend to break my stuffing apart some and then put it in there. That's just so there's no like hard like clumps or anything like too crazy going on. It's a little bit more. Whoop, dropping my stuffing. Okay. Got it all nice and in there. Feel it, make sure it's not too tight anywhere. You can take off your stitch marker if you want to, or counter, I mean, if you want to. All right, so what I like to do two different things. First thing I like to do is I like to just double check my counts, because you know sometimes you might accidentally not hit the button, or you might hit the button but maybe it didn't count, like it didn't clock it. So I like to go back to my beginning point and I like to count. So 1, right here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So I have 26 rows. Now I'm going to grab my leg. Now, if this is your first leg, this is going to be the one that you measure everything against to see if it, you know, if it's symmetrical to your other legs. Having said that, I've already made the first 3. So you're going to notice that 1, they are symmetrical, and 2, you have room for just 1 more row right here. But we're not actually going to put a row. What we're going to do is for this step, which is going to be row 27 technically, we're going to pinch these 2 halves together like so. I like to move my yarn to the back side, and we're going to put 8 single crochets going across the top of the leg, going through both sides. So that's going to be 1, I'm holding at a weird angle, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're going to chain 1 and cut our yarn, pull it through. We can remove our stitch marker. And now you can do a couple different things. You can use a yarn needle and weave that through, or you can take your crochet hook and come up, grab your tail. You can do it like this. When you push that in, it's all going to go in, back in. All these stuffing is going to go back in. Or you can use a needle and then you can stuff it like I'm doing right now. Either way, you're going to hide your tail. You're going to hide your tail. I personally like to use a needle versus the crochet hook. All right. Just getting all the fuzzy wuzzies off of it. And when you're done, you will have four legs for your cat. 2 front and 2 back. And that is the legs of your cat for your cat organizer. Thanks for watching.